to ask questions, give feedback, and for us to have a conversation. All right. We do this every Thursday again. So even if you don't get to get your answer or your question answered today, there's always another chance. And don't feel this is your only space. We do several of these audio rooms. We do another one on Tuesdays with Isaac at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I know the marketing team is doing also an audio room. Actually, yesterday's audio room was really cool every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. But also, we're always listening. You can shake your phone. You heard me right. Shake your phone, and you can submit feedback, or if you have any questions or anything, if you have any issues, you can contact support that way, or you can email us at support@fanbase.app. We're always listening. I know the tech support team has been working a lot and very busy with the amount of feedback and tickets we had since the what I call the TikTok telenovela wave, which was the one day that TikTok was closed. We had 500,000 users joining Fanbase, which was exciting. But with that also came a lot of people giving feedback. So the tech support team is catching up. But I promise you, we're always listening and they'll get back to you sooner or later. All right. With that said, let's get started. Usually, the way we structure this conversation is I share with you the current sprint. For us, a sprint is basically a grouping of tasks that we do on the product side, and our sprints are 2 weeks long. So that means that every 2 weeks we work really, really hard to bring you a new release. The release can bring new features, improvements, but there's one thing guaranteed. No matter if there might be mistakes here and there, on every release, we're getting better and better. And as we grow, we're always trying to improve the way we release things, the kind of functionality we release, and so on. But first thing I do is I talked about the current sprint. We're on sprint 111, 111. Then we talk a little bit about what's coming on the upcoming release out of that sprint, because not everything that we work is part of a release. A lot of times we work on things that might be released 2 sprints or sometimes even 3 sprints from now. And then I open up for any questions or feedback you might have regarding the sprint, Fanbase. Please don't be shy. I don't want to take anything for granted. Some of you might be new users, some of you might be existing users. If you have basic questions about Fanbase, I'll be more than glad to answer those questions. If you're an investor or you're thinking about investing in Fanbase, I also encourage you to bring those questions. And if I have the answers, I'll respond those as well. Okay. With that said, let's get started. I mentioned we are on sprint 111, sprint 111. I hope everyone by now has the latest and greatest fan base versions on both iOS and Android. I always encourage everyone to always have the latest version. That's the best way you can guarantee the best experience in Fanbase. Believe it or not, we still have a lot of people that might still have older versions. Yes, the solution is sometimes do what we call a force update, get everyone to update, and without that, they cannot update they use the app. But we never like to enforce those kind of things. In fact, when we develop things, we try to make those retro compatible with the other versions as well. But still, always check to make sure that you have the latest version. If you're like me, you allow Apple or Android to update those automatically for you. So hopefully you don't even have to worry about it. Okay. With that said, let's go into sprint 111. Okay. So sprint 111, we have a million things going on. But again, uh, some of these are eligible to be part of next week's release. Next week, usually we aim at Wednesday. Sometimes it happens on Thursdays. We have our release. And out of all these functionality that I'm going to mention, some of those are going to be eligible, meaning we were trying to push them for the release as well. Okay. The first one I will talk about is what we talked um, before, which is we're doing a lot of small UX UI improvements. And one of our uh, biggest goals, if not the goal, is to improve retention. And again, retention is something very broad. Retention can be a lot of things. can even go beyond product as well. And in an environment or ecosystem such as Fanbase, where you have 6 content formats, um, retention can mean a lot of things. And as such, one of those branches of retention is do small UX UI improvements that can actually help retain. Retain mean that you as a creator, you feel your content is viewed properly, you feel like you're being seen and you're engaging and interacting. And if you're a supporter or you're just someone that coming and checking out what's going on in Fanbase, you can access that information in an easy way. You're seeing the content that you came for and so on, right? So we are going to be making 2 other UX UI improvements. One of them is in the way you comments on all your posting, right? Again, we always think, okay, how can we give full visibility and priority and highlight the content itself? And everything else engages around the piece of content, right? So we're going to be doing some commenting UX UI improvement. We call that pop-up commenting. Next week on my Thursday Tech Talk, if everything goes well, that will be live and I will be able to share my phone and my screen so we can see exactly what that looks like. Again, small, but it will make a big difference when you engage and when you're commenting on all the content in Fanbase. We're also improving the share models and we're standardizing them across all the content formats. Right now, we have some inconsistencies where you share a piece of content on audio might be different the way you share content on media posting, which is an image or videos up to 1 minute. So not only we're standardizing that, we're even improving the way you share it so it's easier. If you want to share through DM in a better way, you can do that as well. Remember, at Fanbase, you can, and we're talking about share externally. We'll talk about share internally when we talk about the roadmap. But share externally, you can share anywhere outside Fanbase. You have the arrow icon there, but you can also share in DM individually or in DM groups. Okay, but we're gonna be standardizing that in the next release, and the team is finishing that. That's on testing by being tested by QA. We're also doing some UX UI small adjustments on Flix as well. Um, with the 500,000 new users plus that we had in January, a lot of those came from TikTok. We are big believers that our objective is to differentiate ourselves from other platforms, but we find value in familiarity. I always say familiarity plus novelty, it's a big win. Meaning, when you come into a platform, you want to feel familiar, you want to get comfortable. Oh, this is like this. Okay, that's why. And then we differentiate ourselves with other layers within that familiarity. And in Flix, we're doing a little bit of that. So for those that came from TikTok, there's small wordings and things that are familiar in TikTok so you can understand which feed to use where. And that's what we're working on right now. Okay. Again, small increments that have big impact, and sometimes those come in the sense of wording, UX, UI, colors, and buttons as well. Okay. With that said, I mentioned Flix. We are um doing some improvements on Flix. Last release, I mentioned that we did a big upgrade that brought some improvements that I share on my Thursday Tech Talk. If you miss it, go into my Fanbase Plus on Fanbase, and you're going to be able to see last week's Thursday Tech Talk, and you're going to be able to see everything that we brought into Flix. But we're going to continue. There's 2 things that we are exploring, and you guys gonna get the exclusive here for being here. One of them is we're gonna add what we call a scrubber, which is a player on the Flix content. So if you ever want to go forward or go back, you'll be able to do that as well. Number 2 is we've been working on some AI integration into Flix so we can make it as simple as possible for you to actually create or have creative Flix as well. So there is a chance that very soon we're going to be bringing AI into Flix as well. Okay. That roadmap continues and it's longer than that. We're also exploring music, guys. I know that you guys been talking about music, but we want to be very smart about how we bring music. We just don't want to bring music just because you said music. We want to make sure that it does make a difference the way you create content and the way you consume content as well, right? So that's being worked. Again, a lot of times when I say we're working on it on the sprint, doesn't necessarily mean we're developing. In the case of music, we're actually refining and putting all that roadmap together, because our business analysts, scrum masters, the product people, they also are part of the sprint. And a lot of times is refining, basically documenting and starting to prototype what that functionality will look like. Okay. And this is an example. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, this is a big one. It's not coming next. This is not part of being eligible for next release, but it's going to come in February. Is what we call SSO. SSO is basically an easier way to sign up and sign in into Fanbase. We're going to allow you to use either Google or Apple to sign up or sign in into Fanbase. That's going to be big for new users, but it's also going to be big for existing users because as we improve our onboarding and first experiences, we want to make sure that whoever falls into Fanbase, even if it's to check it out, that experience of signing up is as seamless as possible, right? And that's going to be improved with the SSO that is coming in February. So the team is working on that. They're finalizing development, and then that's going to be pushed into QA before it gets released. So I'm super excited about that. I think that's going to be big for conversions, which conversion has been pretty good, but can always get better. But it's also going to be big for retention as well. All right. Let's see. I did mention last Thursday we're starting to do A/B testing, a lot of it. Great products and great companies do A/B testing all the time. You guys might not realize, some of you might, but even if you're coming from other platforms such as Instagram and TikTok, they do thousands of A/B testing a day. And that's how you really and truly can understand if what you're doing will give value to the user, in our case, the creators and those that support the creators. And we're going to do a lot of A/B testing that will include um, first experiences, meaning those that come first to Fanbase, trying to see what's the best first experience for someone that comes into Fanbase. It also deals with navigation, right? We haven't really touched navigation in a long time, but we want to start experimenting with navigation and see how we can improve it so it's easier to understand, it's easier to navigate in Fanbase as well. So the team is starting to do a lot of A/B testing. This is not something that we're going to release and have results right away. The way A/B testing works is you always have one controller, which is the way it's now, and then one variable, which is the way you want to test. And then you divide. You say, half of my audience, I want them to experience this. Half of my other audience, I want them to experience that. And then you measure that data, and then you come to a conclusion. And sometimes the conclusion might be is neither this or this. But we're hoping that by the time we do A/B testing, it's going to be one or the other one, and that's going to start happening. I'm excited about that as well because that will help retention a lot. No matter how much we think we know, no matter how brilliant Isaac's ideas are, no one knows the most than you, the user. No matter if you believe to be a creator, we believe everyone's a creator. If you are just someone that's here for fun and wants to see content, so we want to take advantage of that. And we're big believers that also larger numbers says more than just the onesies and twos, right? So A/B testing is going to be big, and the team is working on that in this sprint. All right, we have some invisible work. I call that invisible work when it deals with um, architecture, performance improvement, bug fixing as well. A lot of times when it's a significant bug fixing, I always bring it, but we're going to be always working on bug fixing every sprint. Um, as we work with third-party um, platforms and partners, a lot of times they do changes that affects our environment, so we got to do those changes as well. So a lot of times things that we do are really not in our control, and we got to do it so we can continue integrating with other third parties. Okay. Ooh, we have a very exciting. I'm sorry. I know I'm such a tease. We have a very exciting. It's not a feature. It's a change that we're gonna be doing, and it's gonna be released before March. And I think it's gonna be big for you guys. It's super easy to do from our side, but it's gonna be big for you guys. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys start guessing if you want. But that's part of this sprint, so the team is working on that. What else? What else? Let's see if I'm missing anything. And I think that's it. I do want to spend some time to give you guys visibility on some of this invisible work that we're doing because I think it's important for you guys to know that when we are raising money and we say, hey, we're raising money to bring these features and to accelerate development, I want you to truly understand how, in my eyes, as the CTO, acceleration or how we can accelerate development. Because to me, accelerate development is not grabbing money and hiring 1,000 engineers. That's actually the wrong way. So I want to talk a little bit about that transparent work that we're going to be continue doing throughout the quarter as well. But with all of this said, I'm taking a little break. That's most of the things that we're working on Sprint 111. All the UX UI changes that I mentioned are eligible for release for next week. And we are also going to be bringing some performance improvement for next week as well. Okay. With that said, I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. I'm going to start as usual on the chat room that probably I missed 1,000 messages. And then I'll go into YouTube as well. I'm seeing some questions there as well. Okay. Let's go into the chat room. Let's see. Let's get some love in the chat room. What's going on, guys? I see everyone saying hi. We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you, Andy. Shout out to Andy. He's my soulmate on the technical things who always tries to make me look semi pretty. Let's see what else. Oh, I see Fede in there. Shout out to Fede and the tech support team. They done an amazing job. Let me give you some numbers on tech support. I think back in January, we had about 6,000 tickets outstanding, and the team has been doing a great job. We increased our tech support team so we can have some help there. We've done a lot of automation. We've used some automation as well, but we're down to less than 2,000 tickets. So if you're one of those, thank you so much for your patience. We're going to get to it. We estimate that we're going to be back to normal in about a week, week and a half. So we're almost there. Okay. But kudos to Fede and the tech support team for sure. All right. Let's see. Let's see what else is going on. Question. See, okay, I'm gonna say it loud because I've seen this, which is strange. I'm gonna bring it up to the dev leadership team on Friday, which is tomorrow. Someone say, "Why does the music from one post continue playing even after scrolling past it and reading another post?" So, Danny Marie, and you might have done this. What I do need you guys to do, if you experience that, to obviously first open a ticket, and then I would like to understand the in what feed did you experience that, and don't tell me now to me now, tell that to support so I can go back to support, grab all the data, and then talk to leadership. um, and I also want to understand what you were doing before. There's a lot of times that when it comes to sound in an app, it also has to do with how the app is running, if it has anything in the background, and also its fan base. When you go through different content formats, it could also have an effect. So, for example, in the past, just to give you an example, we used to have a lot of echo on a lot of audio rooms, right? And we discovered that the echo was happening because users were going to the Flix feed, were going through a Flix feed and listening to the sound of Flix feed and then going into audio. And that echo was translating into audio. I know it's strange. I don't want to get too technical. I'm just sharing that a lot of times things that you do before you get to that point can be the reason why you're having that problem. Again, it's a problem that we need to fix, but we need that information so we can fix it as well. So I encourage you, if you have experienced that, to please share with support with as many details as possible. And that will really help us to hone in and fix it right away for you. Okay. So thank you. All right. Sorry. Let me give you some love to that. I always give love to great questions and great feedback. Let's see. Let's see. I see some questions on blocking. So blocking is one of the objectives for this quarter that we want to finalize. Blocking, it still has some loopholes in some scenarios. And I know that some of you have mentioned that. So I just want to mention that that should be um, fixed once we get to blocking. All right. Let me see. Um, can we also be able to edit an error on posting and chat in audio room? Interesting. So with posting, you can edit your posts. We know that, right? In audio room, you can edit the title. Something that we don't allow. It's not that we don't allow. We don't have that yet. Is the editing on commenting, right? And it has a logic on that too. And we'll put that logic, but that's something that I can definitely see entertaining for the roadmap. I've heard it before, so on discourse that there is, especially on live experiences, live and audio, there is a good side of saying things and just saying it in the moment, regardless if they're good or bad. So, what I'm saying is that even though we can do it, doesn't mean that we will do it in every single place. In some places, we might do it differently just because in live experiences, I feel that the user experience has to be considered different than a post or anything like that. All right, all right. Let's see. Yeah, we've seen more than usual spam accounts. Again, as you become more popular, as you start being in the radar, we expect these things to happen. We're working on the support and automation side to see how we can um, decrease that. When we actually launch the SSO release, that's going to help with that. But we also have an entire improvement on our bot algorithm that I think is going to help tremendously. We haven't been able to get there. Again, what happened in January, which was an amazing thing, which is we suddenly got 500,000 users coming into Fanbase and wanting to use Fanbase, made us have to reprioritize a few things naturally for the sake of the business and everyone that is part of Fanbase. But we will get to that and we'll improve it for sure. All right. Let's see what else we have going on here. Da, 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 da. Sorry, I'm going here. Da, da. I love your live. There's been some good lives going out there for sure. I've been looking at some of the lives. Let me see. I know it's February now. I know. I still think I'm in January, but I can't believe February the 6th. Happy Black History Month. In fact, I have some things that I was reading a lot today about notorious um, uh, black technologies that have made a difference in technology. And I want to bring it today because I think it's important. A lot of times people don't know how much influence, you know, uh, black folks have had on technology, and I wanna talk a little bit about that too. Let's see what else we have here. What else to do? A lot of comments, not a lot of questions, guys. What's going on? Let's see. I see you guys. You guys having a great time. You don't even need me. I just can open the room, put the chat room, and I'll let you guys chat with each other. I see ambassadors in the building. What's up, guys? Shout out to the Fanbase ambassadors. We are going to be, this is not my place. I'm a technology guy, but I heard through the vines that eventually soon we're going to start opening the ambassador program again and take new people. Sorry, I saw someone just asking about the bots and crypto DMs. Hopefully, Marshall, I answered that question. We do have a plan. We had a plan before this influx happened, and it was part of Q1, but it got pushed a little bit. But we still have a plan. And the plan, I'm a big believer in everything. The same with moderation. It's a combination of automation. We actually build patterns and again, bots is something that will happen all the time, no matter how perfect you believe your ecosystem is. But we have an automation plan that has a lot of patterns, right? Identifying what we believe to be bots. It has also a set of policies and processes that manually human beings will be able to help as well, because I'm not a big believer that you can just put an automation and forget about it. So it's a combination of automation and manual as well. So that's a little bit of it. And then when we get closer to implementing, I'll share more about it. But we're definitely going to be taking care of that. Okay. Let's see. A question. I have not received my last month payment. I have sent email but no reply. So I'm going to do this because I had one more person that said that. So let me tell you a little bit of what happens with payments, okay, and how it works. So we pay on the first of every subsequent month. So that means that whatever you make in January, we pay February 1st. Okay. Minimum right now is $25. So you got to make a minimum to get paid. But also, you have to have your payment profile set up. You go to your profile, upper right hand side settings, you're going to see payment profile settings. Make sure you complete it. If you're in the US, UK, or Australia, you can put your bank account or your debit card, and you can even put your business to connect it there. If you're outside those regions, you can put your PayPal account, all right? But you must have your payment profile. The way it works is we have also a way where we identify who's eligible to get paid, okay? And once we do that, we also look, our system looks if you have a payment profile. If you have a payment profile, we can pay you. We want to pay you, okay? But sometimes it might happen that your debit card might have expired, for example, right? When that happens, those are more of the complex scenarios where we send the payment, but that payment gets stuck in between. We have visibility to that, don't worry. But a lot of times it takes us a few days to realize that out of the 100 payments that we did, two or three, it's always the exception, it's not the rule. Their debit card was expired. And then we have to reach out, let them know so they can correct it, and then we do it. Okay. So in your case, if you reach the minimum, you have your payment profile set up. That might be your case. Don't worry, we'll get to you. If you contacted support, um, please be patient. Just Brido, I just wrote down your name so we can maybe get back to you tomorrow because I know how getting paid is important. So we'll get you paid. So don't worry about that. All right. Let's see. I see someone saying, I have been telling my friends here in Nigeria about Fanbase. Love it. Love it. We're having a lot of conversations with Nigerian company and even with people in the government in Nigeria. So I love Nigeria. I'm a big soccer player guy, and my favorite games were always Argentina, Nigeria. So, and actually, I play soccer with Nigerian folks as well. So, let's see what else we have going on here. All right. What I skip, guys, is because I already addressed. Don't feel like I'm ignoring you, okay? Okay, I'm seeing that. Let me see. What's up, team? I see team there. Sometimes an audio room is created for me when I'm a guest in someone else's audio room. It kicks me out of the room. I'm not sure I understood that, team, but seems like a strange situation. So maybe you can share with me later on. Someone said, good people keep asking how they can be ambassadors. I hope they're ready. LOL. Yeah. Being ambassador is not just a great badge. There's a lot of things that come with it. So we're definitely going to be sharing more about that. All right. I love this question. Someone said, what options currently exist here for monetizing? I'm new. First of all, welcome. I'm actually going to give 100 laughs to that, and then I'll make my point. So there's multiple ways you can monetize in Fanbase. Let's start by saying that we believe in Fanbase that everyone is a creator, and I'll prove you why everyone is a creator. You have different levels of creators, but everyone is a creator. Number two is Fanbase is the platform that has the least friction to make money. That means that you can make money from day one. I'll tell you how you can make money from day one. So there's two currently, and that's going to change in the future a lot of times near, ways that you can make money in Fanbase. One of them is through Lab, which is our digital currency. Every Lab is worth about half a penny for the creator, right? And you can give Lab in all the content formats that we have. And I'm going to go one by one. But you can also gain subscriptions and you can subscribe, right? The default subscription is $4.99, but we actually have dynamic subscriptions. We're going to make that available to every user eventually. But right now, if you want to change your subscription, you can reach out and ask for that subscription change. So you can also make money out of subscriptions. Now, how does it work? We have six content formats. We have Flix, which is a short form up to 2 minutes, which is, if you want to compare it with something that is out there, TikToks, right? We have Fanbase Plus, which is long form video. You can do 15 minutes from the app, or up to 2 hours from desktop. Okay, so you can upload your podcast styles. If you want to compare that with something that is out there, YouTube, right? Fanbase Plus. We also have audio, which you are right now. We have stories, and we have media posting, which is images and videos up to 1 minute. And then last but not least, we have live. You can go live. In all of those, you can monetize by um, getting or even supporting by giving love. Okay. And you can do that for any reason. In every post, in every flicks, even here in Fanbase Audio, if you look next to my bubble, you're gonna see a lab. You can make money just by talking. Talking is creating content. Commenting is creating content. So you're also gonna notice that on media posting, on flicks, on Fanbase Plus, when you comment, you have a chance to also monetize, and someone can give you love for a great comment. In fact, here, whoever asked that question, you just made 100 laughs for asking a great question, which was simply, how can I make money in Fanbase? Okay, so that's a way you can make money through lab across all 6 content formats. I forgot one more. DMs. If you go to DMs, you can also make money in DMs because anyone can give you love for a piece of content that gets shared in DM or anything that you say on DM. So someone said love is going down in the DM. Love is going down in the DM. So that's one of the ways that you can make money. In fact, I will say that because love is such a low friction because it's simple, right? I give a love here and love there. It's people are getting used, users in families are getting used to giving love, and we're seeing a big spike on love use in Fanbase. All right, and they have subscriptions, so you have public content, and you also have what we call exclusive content, and that happens on media posting. You can have exclusive images or exclusive videos. On Fanbase Plus, you can have exclusive Fanbase Plus. You can have exclusive audio rooms as well, so people can actually subscribe or unlock to be part of that conversation. We now have exclusive live streams, meaning someone can subscribe to you to see those exclusive live streams. We have exclusive stories as well. The one thing we don't have exclusive out of all the content formats is Flicks. And the reason is because with Flicks, when you get into music, there's a lot of licensing and things we need to consider, and we're not there yet. We might get there in the future. Okay. Now, let's say that, for example, you like a creator, but you like only one piece of content from that creator. You don't like everything that creator does, right? So rather than have to subscribe to see that one piece of content, you can actually unlock that piece of content with lab. You can do that the same with audio rooms. Let's say that, for example, you see an exclusive audio room that you really want to participate, but you don't want to subscribe to a content creator because you just want to get a feeling of what the conversation is about. You can unlock that exclusive audio room with lab. So lab is not only a way to give, tipping here and there, you can also unlock individual pieces of exclusive content as well. So those are 2 ways that you can make money. With all of that, we're already seeing people coming into Fanbase, they migrating their TikTok or Instagram content on day one, which is the number one thing I always recommend to everyone. Bring your content. You're not deleting it from Instagram or TikTok, you're just copying it over. And you already have content in the platform, and you already have a chance to have someone to look at it, love it, and give you one piece of love. I'm already seeing a lot of people that on 1 week in Fanbase, they made more money than they made in 10 years on other platforms. In fact, on Tuesday, I screenshot one comment from the chat room of someone saying, I just made 10 cents in less than 5 minutes in Fanbase. I've been on Facebook for 10 years. I didn't make a single dime. To me, that's powerful, right? Now, as we grow, we are going to be bringing more revenue um, streams for you guys because we're all about the creator. How can we get you as close as possible for you to make good money? Because that's when we celebrate. When you make money and when we pay out, we're happy. We're proving our concept, which is everyone is a creator. You can make money from day one, and your content has value, and you're owning that. Okay. So there's a lot more, but hopefully I gave you a summary of how you can make money as a new user in Fanbase. And again, in the future, I will tell you there's going to be a lot more revenue streams, including e-commerce and other things that we're working with. All right. Great question. All right. Let's see what else we have. I'll get to you guys in YouTube. I haven't forgotten, but I had so much in the chat room. So let's see. What else? What else? What else? Okay. Sorry, I'm going through here. You're welcome. No problem, Don. Yeah. No, there's no way there was a fake Isaac verified. No way. We we are constantly in the lookout for the fake Isaacs as well. The only real Isaac is the one with the yellow badge, guys. If you don't see a yellow badge, ignore it. Please report it. All right. All right. Let's see what else we have. Rama, who's the greatest soccer player of all times? Ooh, what a question. Well, right now it's Lionel Messi. I have no doubt about that. I think in the past, soccer was different, and Maradona, Pele, those were amazing soccer players. But definitely Messi is the best one to me, and Ronaldo is also a great one as well. All right, all right. Let's see. I'm gonna take a pause from this chat room, and I'm gonna go into YouTube because we have a few questions there. Um, Quick question: is Fanbase going to be able to upload pre-recorded short videos? I'm not sure, uh, George. I'm not sure I understood that one. In Flix, which is up to 2 minutes, you can upload pre-recorded short videos, and you can edit them as well. So I don't know if that was the question, but if that wasn't the answer that you were expecting, please give me more details. Um, when will we be able to comment on Fanbase posts via web? That's a great question. Web, right? Web does not have the same experience as app. Okay. We're raising money. We're trying to grow our team so we can start getting web to the point where we want it to be, right? But it's a question of time. Now, I always say the fact that we have all this functionality in app doesn't mean that we're going to come and bring it in web just because we can. There's a lot of experiences as a user that are better in app and doesn't justify to put in web. And the same in web. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to do in web that doesn't justify them to have them in app. So as we grow, we're definitely going to be bringing things such as being able to follow on web, being able to, comment and so on. But we're going to put limitations because at the end of the day, we need to be hyper focused of where is the best experience or whatever you're trying to achieve, right? A perfect example is Fanbase Plus. We would never uh, want you to have to upload 2 hours of content through your phone. We want you to do that through the desktop. That's more of a usual experience or use case for users, right? That's how we're thinking web as well, and that's how we're going to continue developing the roadmap as well. All right. I love these questions. I'm going to answer a few more on the chat room, and then we'll go into the roadmap. And I want to talk a little bit about a few things. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Many ways to make money here. You got it. Let's see. What else? What else? All right. There's no more questions here. I like it. I see podcasters in here. I love it. Are you guys looking for volunteers? I don't know, volunteers for what? We're always looking for volunteers. We're definitely need to grow and let's see. All right. All right, guys. Well, let's get back into the rest of the topics. I do want to spend, let's say, 10 minutes, and then we'll spend the last five answering any other questions. Two things. The first one I want to talk about is some of the invisible uh, work that we do every time. And as you know, we are raising money. We're raising $17 million in a Regulation A. We call it Reg on Start Engine. If you go to startengine.com/fanbase, uh, not only you can be part of Fanbase as a user, you can also be an investor and own a piece of Fanbase. And I encourage everyone to participate of that. All right. And as such, one of the questions we always get is like, okay, guys, you're gonna get, you're looking for $17 million. What are you gonna be doing with that, right? And one of the things we do is we want to improve the product and expedite development, right? And you probably heard Isaac saying, "Oh, I know you guys been asking for dark mode, for carousel. We want to do all of those, right?" But from my perspective as CTO, when I think about scaling a product and even scaling a company, a structure, I don't always go to the we just need to hire engineers because that's not always the solution. So I want to give a little bit of transparency. If you are an investor, or if you're thinking about investing, when we talk about scaling and expediting or speeding up development, what's our plan? Okay, because it's not just hiring engineers. That's not it. It's part of it, but it's not it. So one of the things that we already started working, but we want to do more and more of that, is improving architecture. Okay, improving architecture means uh, not focusing on building the platform for what you need today, but for what you're going to need in the future. So not only you make it a better experience for the user, but also you make it an even more viable business because on every feature that we do, on every button that we put, there's also a lot of other factors that we need to consider. Cost is one, right? The cost of not only developing it, but also the cost of hosting it and processing it, right? So there's all these variables, and architecture is very central to that, right? So a good architecture a lot of times allows you to do things once and then being able to centralize and be efficient in the way you develop. A not so good architecture is making you do things twice and duplicate code and duplicate things, and then you end up spending more money on development and more money on hosting, right? So architecture goes at every level in a product. It goes at you know, the infrastructure side, right? The hosting, how we host everything. At the backend level, how we structure our databases, if we do microservices or not. And then at the front end, which is at the app level as well, how much data are we consuming, right? We have all these amazing people from Nigeria coming and other regions of the world where data consumption is important. We can't just afford, having an app that consumes a lot of data. So architecture is very central to all of that, right? So building architectures, it's a great way to um, make a product scalable and also speed up development. Is that kind of work that no one wants to do it, but it has to be done. Everyone likes the flashy, features. Oh yeah, let's do watch party and all of this. But this very core work needs to be done, and that's what we're doing and how we want to do more of that architecture, right? The second point, those that are nerdy like me and have development experience, is automation. You hear me do say automation all the time, right? We have, I always call this beautiful monster. It's a monster because we have this app that is nowhere to be found because no one has the functionality that Fanbase has. No one. I don't care what you think, what you do, no one has it. And as such, it brings a lot of complexity in the development of things, right? So a lot of times when you develop this, you got to make sure that by developing that, it's not affecting that, that, and that. So imagine when you are a QA person, you're trying to test things. A lot of times you're focused on testing one feature, one aspect. But what happens if what was work here affects here and you're not testing and you're not considering it? Then you're missing, and that's when bugs happen. That's where you gotta retest things again. So there's a lot of inefficiencies when everything is done manually, right? Automation at a development and at the QA level is super valuable to a scalable product. So in that way, when our QA team or even our development team is focusing, they focus on things that are different. But we automate the way, it makes sure that when you're working on this, all of this doesn't affect it. And if it does affect it, it gives you an alert and then you can work on it before you release it. So automating our pipelines, our testing, the core things of Fanbase will help us to become an even more scalable product and will allow us to start developing quicker because we don't have to worry about having to wait for testing this or testing that. So all of that invisible thing is very important when we're trying to scale up a product, and it doesn't get talked enough. Every time you hear about startups that they get value at these multi-million dollars and they get money, what they do, they go and they hire people and they expect that to solve the problems, but that's not the solution to all. So the way we're approaching it is, yes, we're going to be growing our team, but more importantly, we need to focus on architecture, automation, improving our processes internally in the development team, bringing the right skill set and seniority as well. And so we're doing a lot of that. And I want you guys to know and have the peace as a user and an investor that we're doing the right way. Every day, Isaac comes to me and says, "Hey, Rama, how we can speed this up?" And I look at him like, "You know what we need to do?" He's like, "Yeah, I know." So we're doing it the right way, and we're doing it as quickly as we can. So I did wanted to take time to share this because I think it's important for you to know that a lot of times when we say it's coming, we're doing it. Sometimes we're taking longer just because we're trying to do it right. Okay, but we're smart too. Sometimes when the opportunity hits, we might need to get a little bit startup-ish and just do it without thinking about that. Okay. All right. Um, the other thing I want to do, I have 5 more minutes before I go into that, is Black History Month. Okay. And as such, we wanted to not only honor the legacy, not only take pride that we're Black founded, and take pride that we're all about diversity. And I wanted to, I've been reading all week about all these um, amazing Black technology pioneers. And I wanted to mention today, you might know about it, but you might not know. And I was amazed how this is not being talked enough. All right. Um, so I wanna just mention six of them. There's many more, so I might not do justice, but I want to talk about it. The first one that I love is Gerald A. Lawson. You probably heard about it, but if you ever played PlayStation, Xbox, or any other game console, you actually have to thank Gerald for that. Okay. He actually was the one who created the first console that used the interchangeable cartridge. Remember, they used, when we used to do family game, all the stuff that was created by Gerald O. Lawson, a Black technology pioneer that, again, I don't feel he gets talk enough. All right. Um, the other one that also doesn't get talk enough is Mark Dean. I didn't know this one, but Mark Dean was actually one of the greatest innovators. He actually was the one who helped design one of the first IBM personal computers as well. All right, so we know that IBM was the source of it all. So that was pretty awesome as well. The other one, Dr. Gladys West. She actually, if you ever use GPS, which I know you've done, hello, GPS is everywhere. You also need to thank Dr. West for that, because she actually was the one who helped build the mathematical model that accurately represented the shape of the Earth that makes GPS possible. When we think about GPS, we think about Waze, Google Maps, and we're like, oh, that's easy. But there's so much data and science into it that we don't understand all the moving parts. And Dr. West was actually part of the core mathematical model for GPS. All right. So it's number three. All right. I'm going to go for another one. Mark Hanna. All right. This is an interesting one. What do you think Gladiator, Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, and Toy Story all have in common? They're all pretty cool movies that have really amazing special effects, right? Well, guess what? All those special effects were actually designed by what is called now SGI, which is Silicon Graphics. And that was founded or co-founded, sorry, by Mark Hanna. He actually was responsible for developing the 3D technologies that is being used in all these movies, which is amazing. Again, these are everyday things that we do and we use in our day, but we don't realize that it was pioneered by Black technologies, which is amazing to me. Again, not talk enough on that, right? So that's number four. Okay, I'm gonna go number five, and then I'll go last but not least number six. And again, I'm not doing justice because there's more than six guys, but we don't have enough time, and we can continue that. Um, so there's someone that I found out the other day that was called the godfather of Black Silicon Valley. All right. And this is Roy L. Clay. Okay. So Roy L. Clay was the one that helped uh, launch Hewlett Packard HP computer division. It used to be huge. I mean, who didn't have an HP compact Presario laptop at the time? Um, so he actually was one of the ones who broke that barrier of having African Americans into the technology industry, and that's why he was called the godfather of Black Silicon Valley. So Royal Clay was also another great pioneer and part of Black history and technology. Okay, and then my sixth one, again, this doesn't make justice because there's many more, and I can share with you guys whenever you want. But the sixth one, I'm reading into the future. And to me, the sixth one is going to be Mr. Isaac Hayes III. Just wait. It's a question of time because I see it every day. What he's trying to do with Fanbase is really as disruptive as it gets. And it's going to be the next economy in this world that we live in. So I'm going to put him right there as part of Black History Month. He doesn't even know, but I do believe he's going to be part of that. And I wanted to mention him as the sixth one. So these are just six examples of how uh, here during Black History Month, we want to honor all these amazing folks that they don't get talked enough, they don't get brought up enough, and they allow us to be here because through one thing or the other one, it helps us to be where we are. So I just want to say thank you and happy Black History Month here at Fanbase. All right. All right. With that said, we have about we can go 10 minutes. It's time to ask away, feedback, any questions you might have. This is the time. I'm all ears and eyes, guys. Let's see if I didn't answer any questions, please repeat it again. Let's see. Let's see. You're welcome. You're welcome. Canada is better than the US. All right. Yeah, historic Black achievements are remarkable. Like I said, they don't get talked enough. Let's see. What else? What else we have here? Ta, ta, ta. Oh, I'm seeing some. So if you're wondering about the investment on Fanbase, um, we mentioned this on Tuesday, but I'm going to say it again. You can invest from anywhere in the world except, unfortunately, Canada and UK. In UK, if you are an accredited investor, you can. But if you're unaccredited, you can't. In Canada, and again, it's not up to Fanbase, it's part of the policies in the region, in the countries, and how crowdfunding is taken. There are ways to go around it. We haven't gotten to those ways. It takes time and money. And so if you are an investor from Canada and UK, there's other ways. If you have an account in the United States, you might be able to invest. If you have a friend, or if you want to create, this week someone asked, can SVPs and groups invest in Start Engine and Fanbase? And the answer is yes. So a lot of times when you have, holding groups, you can also invest as well. So that can be another way. All right. Let's see what else. What else? When we'll be extending the record time on Flix? Uh, Soon. We actually did tests on that last week, and the challenge with that is the processing time, because for Flix you have a lot of elements when you edit. We have masks, text, GIFs or GIFs, however you want to say it. We have, effects, and all of that adds up into the processing of the video. So it's not as simple as saying, hey, let's just extend from 2 minutes to 10 minutes, but we're analyzing it. It's not going to be soon just because we don't want to right now focus on working on the processing time of that because right now it's working well. But we are going to bring it, I promise you, not sure when. System engineers. Mark, I like that. I like your question. Someone says, I'm assuming you're asking if we're looking for DevOps, system engineers, volunteers, bug hunting. I would love to. And actually, one of my challenges, I have all these small projects that I put myself as a CTO. It's not like I don't have already a lot to do, but is I want to start figuring out a way where we can start bringing the concept of hackathons into the Fanbase world. In fact, something that I brought to Noah, one of our marketing folks today, is that I want to start also bringing pipelines from the HBCU world into the technology at Fanbase. I enjoy teaching. I haven't done it in a long time, but I used to do it back in my old job. And what I want to do is I want to start putting a technology curriculum where we can do practical work and bring students, it can be seniors, even from their capstones, into farm-based real case scenarios and have them be part of some technology and development opportunities inside farm-based as well. And that concept of involving the community into helping shaping, developing, it can be as simple like you say, bug hunting, hey, find bugs fixing and so on. I want to do it. I think that's the way to grow. I just didn't get the chance to put the framework together yet, but I will. I promise you. All right. Elijah, what is your question? Sorry, I missed it. I might have missed it. If you don't mind answering again, asking again, then I'll ask it. Let's see what else we have here. A hackathon will be super fun. I know. We want to do it. When I say it, my developers were like, all right, Mark, sounds good. Let's link up. How can we access the questions and answer on this chat? Moving too fast to read. I know. Welcome to my world. Sometimes I miss because there's so many of them. It's a good point. So we are going to be bringing eventually recording on audio room that you can record the audio room. It's an interesting scenario if we could eventually be able to export and present it in some shape or form all the chatting that went on in the chat room beyond the recording, right? So I'll take that as a something to think about. All right. Um, no other questions, guys. Let's see. Anyone in YouTube? When is the cooking show? Is the cooking show? I want to know a cooking show. Let me know. All right. Any other questions, guys? If not, we're ready to wrap up another great Thursday Tech Talk. Oh, there you go. Someone asked for an alternative payment option for Ghanaians. She said PayPal is non-Ghana. I was surprised. I was surprised. We actually chose PayPal as another alternative for the rest of the world because it's one of the most widely used. But we did find that in a lot of regions it's not used. So let me know what usual payouts, payments systems do you use, and we'll consider those. We have a financial roadmap where we're going to be diversifying how we pay and what you can do with your money. And I want to have that information and what better than from those that live in those regions. So let me know, and we can definitely consider. All right. Oh, there you go. So that was Elijah, the question. Yeah, if you let me know um, what in Ghana, what payment systems they use. Now, I will say this, guys. I'm committing, if you are a creator that you have reached $25 or the minimum, and PayPal or the other payout options are not available, we'll find a way to pay you. Contact support, let them know, and we'll find a way, even if it's a manual way to start with. That's how we started with PayPal. I don't know if you knew, but before we integrated PayPal in Fanbase, we actually were manually paying through PayPal to all these creators because we want to pay you guys. We want you guys to realize the aha moment of, wow, I just made, no matter if it's 25 bucks, 50 bucks, I can go to work with that money. I can buy me a lunch. That makes a difference. And that's just a, a little bit of the future, guys, because the social economy is for real and it's going to be driven by you, who you are a creator, or you might not think you're a creator, but you are because you're making money through a platform. And that's the future. So, if again, if you are someone in a region that doesn't have a payment system that we support, let support know. They're going to bring it to us and we're going to consider so we can pay you manually. Okay. So, don't let that move you away from Fanbase. That should not be a reason why you're not in Fanbase. All right. All right. All right. Um, all right, guys. Well, brief summary. We covered a lot. We talked about Sprint 111. Um, we have a new release coming next week. We're going to have a bunch of UX UI improvements towards retention. We have Google and Apple sign up, sign in coming up very soon. We're going to do a lot of A/B testing towards retention as well. We're going to continue the invisible work to continue improving the platform and the product and the experience. I didn't mention it, but we're also working in a brand new moderation system that's going to change the entire game for Fanbase. I'm excited about that. I didn't mention it, but I did mention just now. And we're going to continue doing bug fixing and improving the platform. Um, and as I always say, any issues that you have, any feedback, continue sharing with tech support. That's all data that we listen to and we look at, and it allows us to make decisions towards our roadmap as well. All right. We had some great questions and great comments. We talked about Black History Month, and we mentioned six great Black technology pioneers. One of them was a little bit futuristic, which I mentioned, but it's exciting. And we also, talked a little bit about payment systems. We talk about some of the things that we're going to be doing with the money that we raise and how we're going to expedite or speed up development and make Fanbase an even more scalable product. I'm pretty proud of how far we brought it, but there's more to do. And so we talked about a lot, but again, this is not your only space where I want you to feel heard. We do this every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We also do Tuesday town halls with Isaac for our amazing investors and anyone else that wants to join every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. The marketing team has an audio room on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, there's other amazing recurring audio rooms. If you go to fanbase.app/audio, you're going to see a separate tab that it says schedule rooms. Tap in there, and you're going to see every day we have a lot of great audio rooms. Some of them are by our amazing ambassadors that can help you understand Fanbase. So I encourage you to continue sharing and joining those spaces as well. And then you can always check your phone. You can always email us at support@fanbase.app, and you can share away. No matter what time it is, what day it is, we're always here for you. All right. So with that said, I want to thank you guys for being here, for listening to me, for asking the great questions. And we'll be talking again next Thursday. I will leave again and leave you with our brand promise. As we go through Black History Month, and as we hear out in this world all these things that are happening, agreeing or disagreeing, we want you to have Fanbase as a safe place where you can always be you without limits. You can always feel like what you say, what you write, what you record has value, and we want to help you grow so we can grow together. So I'm going to say goodbye, but I'm going to leave the brand promise. So I'm going to stop the watch party. I want to say thank you for those that are on YouTube. Appreciate you guys, and we'll be talking next Thursday. All right. So if you want to check out the brand promise and stay around, stay around. If not, we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you guys. All right. Let me go ahead and.
We are following breaking news. A judge has just paused tonight's midnight deadline for federal employees to decide whether to take President Trump's so-called buyout. The deal would mean that they quit their jobs and hope to be paid through September or risk getting laid off anyway. It's part of the Trump administration's aggressive push to shrink the government. And at the center of it all is Elon Musk. Over the past 3 weeks or so, we have watched the world's richest man threaten massive job cuts across several agencies, from the Treasury to the U.S. Agency for International Development and the CIA, just to name a few. Next, he could come swinging for the Department of Education and the Environmental Protection Agency, and we'll have more on that in a moment. First, though, let's turn to CNN's Jeff Zeleny, who is live for us at the White House. Jeff, walk us through the judge's decision. It's a big one, and are you hearing anything from the administration in response?
Well, Brianna, we were about 10 hours or so away from that midnight deadline where federal employees would have been able to accept this offer to essentially not return to work and be paid through September if they would not like to participate in the return to office program. But that is all now on hold. As you said, a federal judge in Massachusetts putting the deadline on hold pending oral arguments on Monday. So for now, at least, this is in suspension mode. This is what we've seen from several executive orders the president has signed. The judge steps in and, excuse me, puts a bit of a pause on this. So far, the White House has not reacted to this ruling. We are expected to hear from the president later. I'm sure he will have words to say on this. But at the heart of this is how some federal workers believe they're actually being respected or not in the case of this order. The White House press secretary just a short time ago had this to say about this offer.
We encourage federal workers in this city to accept the very generous offer. If they don't want to show up to the office, if they want to rip the American people off, then they're welcome to take this buyout, and we'll find highly competent individuals who want to fill these roles.
Her words there, if they want to rip the American people off, who she's talking about there is the federal workforce, from the CIA to the FBI to the FAA, actual people behind these offers. And just because people may be working from home or off site does not mean, of course, that they're ripping people off. But if you look at some of these factors now that are going into this, an email was sent out overnight giving employees one more chance to sign up for all of this. And they're really trying to make the case here that it's good for them. But the 3 federal unions that brought this suit are arguing and have been instructing workers to be very careful about this buyout offer because they say there are no guarantees at all for any of this. So for now, at least, Brianna, this is on hold until Monday, pending oral arguments. Again, no immediate comment from the White House. We've checked and they've not gotten back to us. Brianna.
All right, we'll wait to see what they do say. Jeff Zeleny live for us at the White House. Thank you. Boris?
Federal employees at the EPA's Environmental Justice and Civil Rights Office have been told they could be put on leave in the coming days. They were told at an all-staff meeting the change would be part of President Trump's order ending all DEI initiatives. CNN's Renee Marsh is going to break this down for us. Renee, the Trump administration has already closed the EPA's DEI office. So what does the Environmental Justice Office do, and how many workers could be impacted?
Right. So this is an office. It's the Environmental Justice as well as the External Civil Rights Office. And these are individuals who are making sure that grants, policies are keeping in mind that there are certain communities that could be facing disproportionate impacts from things like climate change and pollution, and making sure that federal funding and programs
All right. Thank you for listening in to another Thursday. Let me stop this talking. There we go. See, working between multiple windows on the computer can be challenging because the audio will be playing in each one of them. And so then you got to switch screens and, all that other stuff. But that's just some key points from a broadcasting perspective. And I don't do many edits, not for my streams. I'll do clips, but ain't nobody trying to do no hour worth of edits. But I will do some Opus clip in a minute. But I hope you enjoyed this stream. Thanks for listening. It is Thursday, Rama Tech Thursday. Join him again every Thursday at 5 p.m. And that's Eastern Time, Atlanta time. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.